Hey adventurers, I'm back. As usual, it's been a little while since my last update, I'm sorry. I've been teaching here in Guangzhou for a few months and everything's been good. I've been really enjoying it and I'm glad I made the switch. Oh, speaking of changing jobs, it's that time of year. Schools are hiring for their next semester. This means that it's the time of year where my inbox gets flooded and people start asking me how I successfully changed jobs in China and how they can do it too. So I decided to stop sending the same messages over and over and just make this one video for everyone on my survival guide to changing jobs in China. Okay, so first things first, ask yourself, are you really ready to change jobs? Changing jobs here in China can be a really stressful process. So if you're not 100% sure you want to leave a job, I would recommend thinking about staying, seeing if you can change a few things about your workplace and just continuing on. Because not only is the process long and difficult, you might also end up at a new place that's not any better, if not worse. So if you're able to make it work at your current company, I would recommend just trying to do that, renewing your contract, and just sticking with them. That's if you can make it work. But sometimes you do all that thinking and you say, yeah, no, I can't make it work. I need to change jobs. I've been there. I get it. It's okay. We're going to make it through this process together, okay? It's really important to note here that depending on your company and how much they are willing to let people go and move on, sometimes they're not very willing and they will make it very, very difficult for you to leave. My company that I used to work for wouldn't transfer anyone's work visa to any new employers, even if you finished your contract. So they always turned your visa back into a humanitarian visa. And so then you can't work and you have 30 days to leave the country. Also, in doing that, they made it more difficult for my visa to get turned back into a work visa. They also led me to believe that you can't change a humanitarian visa into a work visa again without leaving the country completely, and that you can't even go to Hong Kong to do it. They convinced me that I would have to go all the way home to America and do my whole process over again, and that basically my job wouldn't be waiting for me. The new job I had gotten wouldn't be waiting for me anymore by the time I got back. Of course, this obviously sent me into a panic and I got worried. I told my new school that my old company was doing all this and my new school said, don't listen to them. We can change it back. We just need you to get here by the time we told you to get here. If you get here by that date, even if you have a humanitarian visa, we will take care of it getting turned back around. Thankfully, they came through on their promise. They took care of it for me. Everything got turned around, and I am so grateful that I am not like homeless or shipped back to America. So to help you kind of sift through the fact versus the fiction in what your company may be telling you when you're trying to leave, let's talk about what you need and don't need when you're leaving your company. The first most important thing that I have to make clear to everyone that messages me is you need to read your contract and see what your resignation notice period is. This is so incredibly important. It trips up people all the time. Overzealous recruiters sometimes, or schools, will tell people, no, in China, legally, you only have to give 1 month's notice. True, legally for China, you only have to give 1 month's notice. But you also signed a contract, and that contract can have additional stipulations. Like the company I worked for, you had to give 2 months notice so that they could get somebody from America or, abroad and bring them over and get them trained before you left. So whether you're completing your contract or not, you need to look at your resignation timeline. So for my old company, it was 2 months, and this is a hard line, 2 months. You have to give it to them, or they can kind of refuse to give you some of your documentation to be able to get to another company. Is it 100% legal for them to refuse this documentation when the legality of China is only 1 month? I want to say no, but at the same time you signed a contract and what matters is the contract, not the China legality. You could try and fight it, but not a lot of people are winners in that scenario. So really just give them the notice they ask for in the contract at the very least. All right, so you put in your resignation within the time period given in your contract. So now what? There are 3 documents you're gonna need from your company. Number 1, you need the original cancellation letter of your foreign expert certificate. That one's really easy. It's just when your company cancels your foreign expert certificate, they get a letter and you take that letter. Done. All right, number 2 is a release letter. Now this one has a little bit more information and is a little bit trickier, so I'm going to use some notes here just to remind myself the things that absolutely have to be in the letter. Okay, so the original letter of release from your company needs to have your personal info, name, birth date, nationality, passport number. Number 2, your contract start and end date. Number 3, contract completion on both sides of agreement and there is no outstanding issue or disputes between both parties. That one, it doesn't really matter if you finish your contract or not. I didn't and I still received this letter. Here's the thing about putting in your resignation well in advance instead of that 1 month and following what your contract says. Even though I didn't complete my contract when it came to my old company, I still got this release letter because I gave the resignation in the fair amount of time that I was supposed to. A lot of companies will refuse to even give you this release letter at all so that you can work anywhere else in China if you don't give the proper resignation. Oh, and number 4 is that it needs to be printed on company letterhead with the company seal. Basically, it can't just be a piece of paper that your boss wrote "you're released" on. Now, the third thing you may or may not need is a foreign expert recommendation letter. If you finished your contract, this should not be difficult. It's just a little form you fill out. There's even a box you can check on it that says they didn't finish their contract. It's not a recommendation letter in that somebody writes a letter about how great you are. It's literally a form that you need to fill out to be able to change jobs. However, if you don't complete your contract, you're almost guaranteed that they will not fill out this form. The good news is, while the first 2 documents are totally, absolutely 110% necessary to be able to change jobs successfully in China, the third doesn't seem 110% necessary. I changed jobs without it. I explained to my company that I couldn't get it. They went to the PSB, talked to them, and the PSB said it'll be okay as long as you have the other 2 documents. So just to recap, you need your foreign expert certificate cancellation letter, you need the release letter, and you could use the recommendation letter, although you might can get by without it if you're lucky. And remember, what happens to all the bad little teachers who don't put in their resignation far enough in advance? That's right, they don't get their release letter and they can't change jobs. Now I know some of you are like the people that message me and you say, but Cameron, I've already got this amazing job offer. I need to put in just 1 month's notice. Tell me how to do it successfully. And I'm here to tell you, I don't have the answer, and I don't know anyone who does. Really, you've got to put in the notice that your contract calls for. It's just what you have to do, and you have to grit your teeth and bear it for those 2 months. On the plus side, I know plenty of people who thought that they could just put in 1 month and tried, and it didn't work out, and so they found a new job and then put in 2 months. It's totally possible. Just give the right notice period. It's just gonna help you so much. Okay, now that we've talked about the horrible, scary, long, drawn-out process of changing jobs in China, let's talk about the fun part, finding your next adventure. So there are a ton of options here. I mean, it's China. You could probably throw a rock and you'd hit a school looking for a new foreign teacher. But how do you find the job that's just perfect for you? Here in China, good old-fashioned networking can do the job for you. First thing to do is set your LinkedIn to the current city you live in here in China. I mean, seriously, within like a week of setting my LinkedIn location to Chongqing when I lived there, I had recruiters hitting me up every single day, trying to get me jobs, trying to get me with their companies, with their schools. It was nonstop. I mean, and it still is. It's nonstop all the time. You will get contacted by every recruiter that exists in China on LinkedIn, and you just have to be open to checking out some of their opportunities. Some of them are good, some of them are totally bogus, and it's just up to you to just sift through them and find somebody that you like. I have a recruiting company that got me the job here now that was one of those that hit me up on LinkedIn, and they are fantastic people. I trust the company so much. They have great reviews. I've actually sent so many people to them. This is a little notebook they gave me. It says ESL Suite on it. It's where my notes for this video are written. But yeah, I send people to them all the time because they're awesome. Another really big thing with networking is just talking to your other foreign teachers and any foreign friends that you make while you're here. Ask them about any jobs they've heard about. Everyone has a recruiter that's here. Everyone knows someone that's hiring. Everyone is getting hit up on LinkedIn all the time too. So everybody has options for jobs. So you'd be amazed how many you get sent just by other people that you know that say, oh, Cameron, I know that you did drama, so here's a drama job. Just today, I got signed up to be a judge for a music competition because one of my friends knew that I did musical theater, and he said, hey, can you judge this competition for some extra money? And I said, sure. So some of your best connections are your friends and your co-teachers and other people here in China. The last and most important thing to remember with this job search is that there are bazillions of jobs here in China, and they need you. I mean, with any luck, if you wait it out and you really find the right opportunity in the right area for you, you might can stay with this company for a long time, and you might not have to go through this horrible process of changing jobs again for quite some time. So really take your time. Don't jump at the first thing that offers to get you out of your current situation. Even if your current situation is basically unlivable, you can wait it out and you can find something that's really right for you. And if you go and you find you don't like it, you can make it to the end of that contract. So guys, I hope this answered all of your questions. I'm gonna be using this video, sending it to people from now on, and never answering another question ever again about changing jobs. No, I'm kidding. If you have questions, leave them in the comments below. I'd love to answer them or find someone who can answer them for you, maybe ask my recruiter. But I know you're gonna be successful, you're gonna change jobs, and you're gonna be super happy. You're gonna go on to do awesome things because you are an adventurer, and I 110% believe in you, okay? And don't forget, guys, keep adventuring.